Hi folks, tool presetters. We've had one for about 2 years now. Now they're not inexpensive and you don't need one. But the interesting thing about tool presetters is in all of the shop tours that we've done, they're sort of this differentiator of the shops that we've seen that have taken that next step usually have a tool presetter. Today I want to talk about two topics though. Number one, why should you buy one? Let's tackle it kind of from that ROI or business shop operation side. And the second are a list of the things that we found the tool presetters really useful for that are the unusual, quirky, pretty cool, fun things. So let's dive in. The first question is, why should you buy a presetter? They're not inexpensive. The basic versions are somewhere around $10,000 plus or minus a bit. Upwards of the sky's the limit. We've seen robot-equipped presetters inside heat shrink cells that are fully automated and unmanned that cost as much as most machine tools. If you're buying table probes for all of your machine tools just to preset tools, a tool setter is frankly going to be cheaper and offer a number of other benefits. There are also situations where you don't want a presetter on your machine table, the type of material that you're machining or just chips in general, or it doesn't fit because you're using the whole machining envelope for machining. But the real benefit is the offline nature. It lets you check the tool, to look at the tool, to set the tool up without doing so at the sake of machine spindle time or productivity. I remember when we toured 3D TechDraw over in the Netherlands and they were running Capto on their lathes. And the reason they ran Capto on their lathes even for basic things like a CNMG insert is it was a simple Capto torque wrench, swap the whole tool body out, and then while the machine's back up and running, you can take your time to look at that insert, use that microscope, check that screw condition, torque it to the right spec with no rush. But we'll come back to that in the second half of this video. The other interesting way to think about what a tool setter can do is it's actually a form of automation. Now that sounds weird, but automation really has to do with saving time, minimizing risk, and creating processes. And one of the best things that we did a while back is every time we had a few extra bucks, we started buying more tool holders. And we left those tool holders dedicated for certain cutting tools, for taps, drills, etc. We number these, we call it S tools, and then we leave the extra tools in relatively inexpensive Acro Mills bins that also have extra inserts, extra cutting tools, etc. It's super efficient because the reality is most of us want to use more cutting tools than we can leave set up in the machine. A presetter is a force multiplier behind this because what it lets you do is measure the gauge length of those tools and you can swap them out offline. You don't need a spindle or a machine available to just do something simple like measure that length. But it's actually a lot more. The single biggest reason we like the presetter is tool runout. Ours has an automated C-axis. Some of them you rotate by hand, but either way, it does a very good job at giving you a representation of each of the cutting edges of the tool and showing you what that TIR is. And I cannot emphasize this enough. There's one thing that we've learned in the last few years of machining and focusing on cut quality, accuracy, tool life, part finish, it's that runout matters. A great example, we recently all of a sudden started having unexpectedly low tool life out of an insert drill. It's a drill that we know pretty well. We've had great tool life and we thought, what is going wrong? And you instantly start thinking about crazy scenarios like a bad batch of carbide or coolant change. And it's kind of one of those Occam razor scenario where sometimes the simplest answer is the answer. And in our case, the tool body got bent. It just got bent by 1/1000th of an inch, 2/1000ths of an inch, but we checked that run out. It was markedly more than it had previously been. We actually just bent it back and immediately solved the problem. Having a tool setter is a resource, a little tool in your tool chest to spend time looking at small tools, large tools, inserts, drill bodies, etc., to make sure you've got good run out. The other game changer is standardizing your gauge lengths across multiple machines in a shop. If you're leaving tools set up in one machine and that machine has a table probe to measure tool lengths, that's totally fine. But if you start moving tools between machines, you've either got to retouch them off or otherwise confirm the exact gauge length because the machines aren't going to be set up identical. You use your master gauge and you establish a single gauge length that is shared across all machines in the whole shop. So no matter what tool, especially if you're using an offline tool system like S tools, where a tool is available to use in any machine at any time, you know you've got a good gauge length. On that note, there have been some really good strides as of late in integrating what's commonly known as Industry 4.0, but basically streamlining the way these things work. They have a software called SPI now, which has different levels of integration. The best level of it being where you can print out the gauge length sticker, which you almost always did. Fun fact, 3D print or buy tool tags. They are great for marking information on cutting tools, but I don't want to fat finger that into the control. With SPI, you can literally take a relatively inexpensive scanner gun that's hooked up to your machine tool, and you can just scan that tool. It will at a minimum apply the correct gauge length, but depending on the settings that you choose, can also update the tool diameter, and it can even ensure that those values are being applied to the correct tool number in the machine control. Really cool. Finally, most presetters can accept a varying range of spindle tapers. So we have ours set up mostly to use on a Cat 40, but it can also take Cat 50 and Cat 30 readily. They make adapters for HSK, they make adapters for Capto. And what's really cool is if you're looking into more, I would say more advanced, but it's really becoming more common, turning situations where you've got Capto style turning holders and so forth. Those can be really tricky, sometimes actually impossible to touch off because of the geometries of lathe turrets, having multiple tools that block other tools from accessing a machine probe. There are presetters that can accept turning tools in Capto style holders and can give you the offsets for your lathe offline, which is just super cool. And now for the quirky and really interesting things that we found our presetter useful for. We already talked about looking at the TIR or the runout of a cutting tool or a holder or the whole assembly. The other thing is it has a phenomenal and convenient built-in microscope. This allows you to quickly look at solid carbide as well as inserts. You can look at the corner radius. You can look at the condition of a coating. You can look at any chipping or micro cracking along a cutting tool edge. Again, in a very controlled environment as you're nice and smoothly rotating that tool and that flute around. If you want to check a radius, or you're just not sure what a radius is, or you want to dial it in, the features and macros built in make it super easy to look at corner radius on bull nose end mills and on carbide inserts, on boring bars, etc. Similarly, it does a great job with this for engraving tools and drills. Now, buying a presetter just to check a drill angle is certainly overkill, but it's quite useful if you're not sure if a drill is 118 degrees or 135 degrees or 140 degrees. And sometimes there are variances in the manufacturing spec that mean your presetter is going to help you dial in more specific radii or angles, which can be key on critical features when you're machining a part. We also sometimes will chip the very tip of something like an engraving tool or a tool that otherwise comes to a sharp tip. If you don't have a presetter, usually this makes the tool worthless. It's very difficult to get accurate features with that tool because you no longer have the ability to touch the tool off because the tip's missing. The presetter can actually make it really easy to measure the length of the tool, measure the missing area of the tool, and if you want to keep using that tool, say you're just cutting with the side of it, stick it in the presetter, you'll get that information in a non-contact way, and you can potentially get a lot more life out of that tool. We've also had problems in the past where touching off a tool by turning it backward onto the Renishaw table probe can actually either affect or even chip the cutting edge of the carbide. We first noticed this when we were using the Corloy style ProMax Ripper. Great tools, they're beasts in aluminum. They are carbide inserts that are ground and polished, so they have a really sharp edge and a really high polish. If you're rotating the tool, even though it rotates backwards, we notice that when it touches the top of the table probe, it more often than not can actually compromise the cutting edge. The Speroni gives us the ability to measure that tool with no contact. Pro tip though, if you don't have a Speroni, you can also use, at least in the Haas control, a non-rotating way to offset that tool and touch it off without rotating it at all, which we have found works better than even rotating it backwards at the risk of damaging that insert. And finally, we bore a lot of holes. We use boring heads to manufacture our fixture plates. We care greatly about the diameter of the boring head. Having a presetter for any type of tool like this makes it super easy to check or adjust the boring head diameter, or any sort of a tool like this, again, that adjusts. What's great about it is it can take a lower quality boring head, especially the non-digital style that use a vernier. They are subject to both backlash as well as when you tighten the boring head down to lock that diameter in, it almost certainly is going to move some amount. The Speroni allows you to see that real time so you can adjust it. In our case, we usually find it when you tighten a tool, it backs the diameter down a few tenths. So we know to kind of go beyond it and tighten it down. But again, the confidence of seeing those numbers on the screen is wonderful. It also can measure thread pitch. This can be useful for a tap, but where it's really useful is if you want to look at the thread pitch of a fastener. And probably the most non-conventional use of a tool presetter is it's a precision metrology tool. So long as you can see the features, you can use it to measure things. So it actually works wonderfully as a type of CMM. If you have a round part with features that may otherwise be really difficult to measure with hand tools, mount it up in a tool holder and use the Spironi to measure diameters and distances of those key features. As always, folks, hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed. Take care. See you soon.